back to my channel. It's your girl Aisha. I'm back with another video, and as you can tell from the title, we're going to be talking about 28 dating tips that I've learned thus far. Some of you may deem me as a late bloomer. I didn't start dating till after I graduated high school, and this week marks my 28th birthday. Yes, I am a Leo. Go Leos, go Leos. Mm-mm-mm. All right, let's get into it. So my 28 dating tips that I've learned so far while dating, to be honest, I've probably been on hundreds of dates so far. Some of the dates I don't even remember what the guy looks like. Definitely no, you who can remember all of the dates that you've been on, right? But I just want to say I do have lots of experience dating. I'm not a relationship expert, not a psychologist, not a therapist. This is not advice. These are just tips that I've learned and things that I'm going to continue to do and things that I've learned through trial and error, observation, and speaking with older, wealthy women that are influential in a way that I can picture myself or aspire to be in a similar position or have similar lifestyles that they have. I don't want to be in their place. I love who I am and in my potential future, but they're people that I can take advice from because I admire their life. So this is what I came up with: 28 things to represent 28 years I've been living, even though I didn't start dating till I was 18. So the first one I have is I make sure that I write down all my standards, expectations, non-negotiables. So when I am dating, I won't waver. I have them written down, set in stone. There's no going back. I can't be shamed into decreasing, changing, bartering, any of the things that I know that I want in my life and things that I expect or want my partner to have or to be able to do or be a certain characteristic or value that he has. If that's what I have written down, I'm not changing it, and I won't be able to be pressured because it's in my head, it's in my heart, it's written down. That's it. The second tip that I have is no sex early on in the dating process. To be honest, in the past when I've done that, that left me to be ghosted, used, discarded, moved. They just moved on because you didn't give them any chase, you didn't give them any fight, you didn't give them any pushback. You made it yourself too easy to get, and we've just known by now for dating that it doesn't work. Most men don't respect women who do that, and that was when I was still kind of exploring my sexual identity, all that. So like again, I said I'm a kind of a late bloomer, so I wasn't even participating in those activities. Some people would say according to American standards, American society, I'm kind of a late bloomer because I didn't start doing all that stuff until like 20. So it took me a little bit to learn what you have to, kind of like to go about being sexually active with men and how to make sure that you are a priority or a prize. So I've learned that I do not do that early on. I don't even speak on the topic. I don't, I can be sensual, alluring, sexy, but push it off. If they want to talk about it, they bring it up, say, oh, maybe later, or we'll get there, or we'll see you once you take me on this trip. But I'm not doing that anytime soon. Um, until he's invested a lot into me, where if he did ghost me, disappeared, I wouldn't even care because I went into that relationship with I'm leaving that relationship with way more than I started and what I came in with, whether that's knowledge, wealth, finances, gifts, um, who you name it, whatever you deem as enough investment to be sexually active with the man, then that's what you're going to do. But my expectations are different than yours, so there's no point in us going into it. But I know what I would expect before I'll feel comfortable um, having sexual relations. The third tip that I have is I don't have a type. if I lined up every guy that I've dated, none of them will look the same physically. I would say if I had to say my type, it would be character values, like a hustler, legal hustler, a man who's a go-getter, on the grind. That's attractive for me. Someone who's charismatic, funny, confident, overly confident, where they don't even think of negative things about themselves because all they see is themselves as a winner. That would be what I would say is my type. But then I can't say none of the guys, if you line them all up, none of them are morbidly obese. None of them could be cast in 600-pound live, 700-pound, whatever that show is on TLC. None of them would be able to be casted on that because they take care of themselves, because they know how important it is to live a healthy life, and then they all have good hygiene. I would say those are the two qualities I can say for sure about all the guys that I have dated, when it comes to physical characteristics. And I've noticed that I did date the pretty boys in college, and they don't try as hard. They're not working as hard as the boys who we say maybe aren't socially attractive or model-esque, football player, basketball player builds. Those, the nerdy type, as they say, which I have no shade to nerds, I am pro nerd. They work harder because they've had to learn skills. They've had to establish strong character traits and values that women admire to get a woman to attract them. Because as we know, in high school, college, it was cool to be with the cool, um, popular, handsome, yada 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 guy. But those guys had 50 other women that they were dating, talking to, buying things for, whatever the case is, and girls were flocking to them, running to them. So they didn't have to do anything, they didn't have to put any effort. They could do the most minimal gestures, and women would be like, yes, yes, I'm wearing his jersey Friday, you know. But the other guy who is on the band or in the booth making sure all of the statistics were correct, they're not being seen, but they're the ones with the, not saying the athletes and the pretty boys don't, you know, you can have a mixture. Nothing is all one level, nothing's black and white. There are gray areas, but I've noticed that the guys who are not as physically attractive, they have tried harder to get me, and the relationships tended to work out better because I was always the priority, I was always the prize. They worked towards me, they gave me what I wanted, and I felt secure because obviously I'm secure in myself, but they made sure that they showed me that I am the prize. And sometimes the men who have 50 other women because of their super physically attractive, they don't always make women the prize because they think they're the prize. They are the pretty boy. They are this, they are that. And that's how they've been their whole life because they've always been handsome. So they've always been treated with extra pleasures and gifts and free passes that the more unattractive guy probably never got that opportunity. The fourth tip I have is never too available. I've definitely made that. I would say the last time I can remember doing that was last summer. I was working as a nanny, as you can see in my care.com video, and I had a job scheduled for a weekend, and it was already pre-booked, and a guy asked me to go out of town with him that I was dating, and I canceled my babysitting gig and went out of town with him. Huge no, I should not have done that unless he was willing to pay double what I was going to make as a babysitter. And that's what I used to do, but I messed up that time when I was working in nightlife as a bottle girl, waitress. When guys wanted to take me out because, you know, I made the big bucks usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then during the day, Sunday is when everyone was coming into the clubs, spending money, yada, yada, yada. So those are the days most guys want to take you out on a date. So I would say, I know I would really love to go out, but I have to work, and you know, I have to pay my rent, I have to pay my student tuition, I have to pay things for Bruce. You know, I have bills that I have to pay for, and I can't miss work. I can make $2,000 in one night. I can't miss that. So men would pay that. When I was living in Kalamazoo or in Detroit dating, whatever, wherever I was dating at the time, men were paying that money, and they don't know how much because, again, it's random waitressing. You never make the same amount every day, but I can give them any amount. If you want to date me, if you want to take me out, you're going to pay that amount that I was going to miss out on money. So that's the only time I would cancel plans for a man, is if he's willing to pay for whatever opportunity I'm missing out. But even though with the I'm not too available thing, I don't answer every text message, I don't answer every call. They don't have full access to me because that's boring. Again, that leads you to being ghosted. That's there's no chase in that. So I don't do that. I'm never too available. Fifth is I new thing that I've been working on the past couple years is being mysterious. He doesn't need to know everything about me. I used to be an open book, which again did not work out for my favor. But now I don't tell them. They barely know anything about me. I'm definitely not telling my jobs, especially you ladies with, if you have a career and you're making big bucks, they don't need to know that. They can think that you are a retail associate, that you're a hostess, that you are a caregiver, you work in education, something that doesn't pay that much, but is somewhere where you have to do a lot of customer service skills. Those are the jobs I would say, or I wouldn't even, I would kind of try and change the topic, talk about the food you're going to order, the drink, or give them a compliment. But we're not going to be discussing our occupations, because some men like to use women in that sense, or they want to see kind of what what you have to offer to help build, like, as a team and work together to become a power couple. But if that's you, if that's your thing, go for it. But me, I don't want to be a power couple unless it's a sense of admiration, not as in working hard and getting down to the grit and dirty. No. They don't need to know your every move. They don't need to know what you do Monday through Friday, your schedule. They shouldn't know what you have going on each day of the week. It's none of their business. When they ask you, what are you doing? They don't need to know what you're doing. You can say something cute and sexy, but they're not going to get the real information of what you're doing because they're not there and they have not earned that right to know everything about you. The sixth tip that I have that I implement is, when you're dating, it's all about the way you make a guy feel. I can say for the guys that I've stopped talking to, everyone has tried to come back, and it's because of the way they felt when they were with me. They say stuff like, oh, it's hard to find these kind of connections with a woman. I've never felt this way with a woman. Or what else have I heard? We had the best times together. We made great memories. We had great conversation. Yada, yada, yada. And that's because I would smile, giggle, touch the shoulder, the arm, look into their eyes. Eye contact is extremely attractive. You gotta learn and practice doing that. Eye contact, giving people eye contact. I've learned that just early on in life. My dad's a public speaker. He taught me basically how to grab someone's attention. So I told you, The Art of Seduction, that book I recommend you to get. They give you at least probably 30 different seduction techniques, and you got to learn from whoever you're dating at the time, whoever you're on that current date with, what would be the best technique that would work on them. So maybe it would be the physical touching, maybe it'll be you being childlike and innocent, maybe it'll be more power dominant like of a woman, maybe it'll be you being mysterious, maybe it would be you aren't able to be pleased. Whatever the technique you're using, just dove and dive into that and make that your kind of personality per se with that guy, because that is what's going to catch them, and that's what's going to make them want to keep dating you and taking you out and doing nice things for you. Is however they feel when they leave you and the date is over, when they're wanting to think about, oh, who should I take to this event I have tickets to, they're going to think of you first because you make them feel the best. The seventh tip I have is you have to have different articles of clothing for whatever event possible. If he wants to take you to a fundraiser, a charity event, a gala, those are all basically the same thing. Different organizations, nonprofit agencies, etc., change the title for whatever reason they have for that night to benefit whatever organization, right? So they're all just charity events where you're going to give money. So you're going to do black tie. You're going to need a long gown. You also need to know the words and the phrases for different events. Say if it's a black tie event, you need to Google black tie event for dress for women. You need to study that so you can know, do I need to wear a dark color dress? Does my gown need to go below my ankles? The type of jacket I need to have. I see that a lot of times women will be having the cutest dress, shoes, purse, but they're wearing a North Face jacket that's sporty, that doesn't go with the dress. You got to get some dresses, some cute trench coats, the cloth, the leather, the velvet. You got to invest in clothing for any event. You want to go out to a sporting event, you got to have some cute pieces for that. Dresses, shoes, purses that fit your body shape. I've talked about this in videos. You got to get what's best for your body shape, your skin tone, your hair color. All of that definitely goes into what looks the best on you. So you need to make sure you figure that out and start tailoring your apparel to suit you best and accentuate the best features about you. So that's why I say you might need to be investing in a good tailor. It doesn't have to be expensive, ladies, either. I found cute pieces and garments on sale at TG Maxx, Kohl's. Where else have I found lots of cute things? Nordstrom Rack, Amazon. You may have a friend who owns a boutique. You don't have to get the items that she actually sells in her boutique, but they have vendors they know, and you can ask her, hey, can you get me a dress that looks like this so I can wear it out? And then she might have to order multiples, but then she can still sell that dress in her shop or online, but you can still get that garment that you need that matches the event that you're going to. So use your resources. Look for deals if you're not at the financial level that you would prefer to be at with the garments that you want. Work around it. Go on the sites like Real. I have not purchased anything from there, so I can't say what the authenticity is, but you have to really do your research and just do the best thing. But you got to have those garments, because it might be he needs you to go Friday, and if you're available, you want to, but you don't have a gown, it might be hard to get one in the next day if today's Thursday and you got to go Friday or whatever. But I think also just another note onto that is, most times if he's a gentleman and he already understands the type of lady you are, he should be offering to pay for that dress, garment, gown, whatever it is. He should be offering to pay it because he knows that you're buying that for him and that it's for his event. So you don't always have to worry about spending your own money, because most of the men will offer to pay for whatever you're spending your money on. But it's good to have it, and you don't want to seem like a brokey with not having the right pieces, and he always thinks, oh, he always has to do something, yada yada yada. The eighth tip for dating is you have to be happy alone. You have to be happy by yourself first. You can't be a desperate woman. I just watched the series Desperate Housewives for the first time ever, I know I'm super late. I definitely want to do some videos about that, kind of going over each of the housewives and talking about ways that they've that I wouldn't recommend women to do, and things that I know that it would not be beneficial in my life to do, because a lot of them, like Susan, super desperate. She was not happy alone. You know, her daughter Julie kept telling her, if I'm not with you, I feel kind of guilty because you can't be alone at all." And she was throwing herself at Mike so much and looking extremely desperate, but that's what the show's called, Desperate Housewives. She was the main desperate woman that I could think of. She was not happy alone, and that made her fall quick. For each guy she was with, she fell in love, and she missed every red flag. She was blinded every time because she kept falling in love in desperation. You have to be happy alone so that you can see, you can weed out, you can keep your options open, and you can make sure you get the best option for you. But you can't do that if you're not happy alone, because you're gonna just fall for the first nice guy or the first guy to do something different that you never experienced, and now you're stuck until you wake up. The ninth thing I have is, I've done this kind of. I didn't move in with him, but I moved to a similar location to be near him. It's I'm never moving for a man, okay? That doesn't, when I've seen on reality TV, let's see what else. I haven't seen any, I don't know of anyone that I know personally that's done that. But when I've seen women do that, it never works. Either they're left short end of the stick. If there were women, career driven women, they had to find a new job, and maybe they took some time to find a job. Now they're kind of behind. They may not have like the living in situation, the environment, the city, the location, the weather, but they're moving because this guy wants them to move with them. They lost a cool college opportunity. They lost something that woman is giving up because she has her life here, and he's asking her to move her life there with him for his venture, whatever that is. It's for him. I'm not doing it. I'm not moving for a guy. I'm staying here. If you want to be with me, you can come here, or we can try long distance while I'm going to be continue dating people in my area. The only, never, everything's black and white. The only gray area of situation where I would actually move with a guy is if he has money set aside for me for when I move there, and I love the living arrangements, I love the city, I love the weather, and he has money for me, so when I move there I can go do whatever I need to do. Nothing gets paused. I can still go get my facials, massages, pedicures, manicures, laser hair removal, get my hair done. I can go travel, shop, restaurants. I can get the books that I want. I can invest in my business because he's already supplied all this for me. That's the only way. Or if he has a business plan and has the money ready to invest in the business, so I can go ahead and start my own business while he's doing whatever he's doing, I can keep being creative and explore my options in my self-employment world. That's the only way I would ever move with a guy. If that's not already established and he's already not proven it to me, I'm not doing it. You got to get the proof. Ladies, remember, we don't believe words, we believe in action. So if he's not wiring you that 30,000 you need for whatever, you're not going. The 10th thing is, I don't take men serious anymore that are extremely active on social media, but they're not getting paid from it. So, like those men who you see on Twitter arguing every day with other women, no. And I know some people say your social media world, your social media character, avatar, persona is different from who you are in real life. Yes, that can be true, but there is an aspect of you on social media that is your true thing, your true feelings, true thoughts, but without the let's see what I want to say. without the responsibility of saying or doing that in person, or actually being in front of whoever you are discussing or chatting or arguing with right in front of your face. Not every man can say what they say online in front of whoever that is, especially if their man is there, whatever the reason is. If he's on there commenting on everyone's posts every single time, he's being thirsty online publicly to everyone, that's unattractive. Okay, I don't care if my guy follows other women and likes their pictures, whatever, who cares? They're a guy, they're using the social media. But if he's on there being super extra OD, doing the most, no, no, not interested. And honestly, nowadays the guys I date, the only social media they have is LinkedIn, and that's really the only thing I would be okay with, because they're doing business. They're not wasting time online being weird. 11. If I mess up my role, like I said, some of these tips I've learned through trial and error, I'm going to bounce back. I'm not going to repeat it. I've said this too, that life is a game. Just imagine you're playing Super Mario and you keep dying at the Bowser stage. And let's say you don't have any more saves left, or you don't have any more lives left. Each time you're repeating the level, you're wasting time, you're making the same mistakes. You haven't learned. You haven't learned the lesson yet, that from that level. You need to learn the lesson. You need to do the something different. You need to maneuver here, maneuver there, get this, get that, get this Yoshi, get this superpower so that you can beat Bowser. But if you keep dying, there's something wrong here. We as women, some of us sometimes like to play the victim. And again, I'm not talking about domestic violence or physical abuse or any type of sexual abuse. We're talking about women who always do the little things as I'm the victim, or oh he left me, or oh he ghosted me, or oh he promised me this but didn't do it, oh this, oh that. Okay, get up, get back out, move on. Who cares? No one really cares. You have to just bounce back, restart that level, get through it, beat Bowser, move on to the next boss, because you're wasting time. Just keep going back, reflecting on it, going back, revisiting it, doing that whole process, and you could have already moved on and been the winner and beat that level. The 12th thing is, I don't let my dates pick me up on the first date, even if he offers. A lot of men will, and then some men have learning, things are different now, and it's not, they're learning how dangerous the world is, and it's not socially acceptable to pick up a woman on the first date. Whether you've known them, you've met them out, you're meeting them online, which now I don't know about online dating anymore, but wherever or however you met this guy, I don't suggest, and I personally don't give out my personal information where they can locate me, my geographic data to them. They don't need to know where I live at. And if they want to send you flowers, there's apps now where they send a link to you saying, oh, so and so wants to send you flowers. And then it's an anonymous thing where you put in your address and then the company delivers it to you. They don't have to know anything about it. All they know is that they've paid for a certain bouquet, a vase, and then it's going to get shipped in however many, whatever shipping method they paid for. But they don't need to know your address for that. So don't let that let a guy trick you into saying, oh, I want to ship you flowers. Okay, well, go ahead and pay for it, send me the link, and I'll go from there. But thanks. And even with that, once I was skeptical, and I had the flowers shipped to my job because I didn't know how true and safe that was. So you have to be safe, you have to think smart, you have to make sure you're meeting in public spaces. And he can offer to pay for your gas and your parking. he can pay for your ride, because sometimes I get Ubers and Lyfts because I don't want them to even see my car or my license plate, because I'm kind of super serious, because I told you all my dad is an ex-police officer, so I take precautions that most women probably wouldn't take, but that's because I know the risk already. And then later on, when I'm comfortable, I won't tell you when, because I don't want you to take what I'm saying and do it, apply it to your situation. And it all depends on you and how everything goes with the relationship or the dating. Soon, not soon, but later on, I will allow him to pick me up for the date and drop me off, and we can go from there. But it's nowhere soon that they are going to be able to know where I live at. And even this lady sending them your apartment but not your apartment door number is a little bit too much, because if he's a weirdo, he could just follow, like, watch you go to your apartment and just try and find a way to get in and find out which one is your unit number. So I wouldn't even tell him the building. If anything, just if you really, really need a ride to the date, walk a little bit and tell him somewhere around the corner or up the street from your house where that he can pick you up there. Or, oh, I'm leaving from here, you can just come pick me up from here. You can do something like that, but I would not ever suggest giving your address early, especially for the first date. The 13th tip that I have is, again, this is kind of going in the security aspect, is when they want me to kind of go on a trip with them, go to their house, sometimes even get into their vehicle, anything where it's going to be just one on one, he and I'm going to make sure that I have a picture of his license plate. And sometimes, they drive more than one vehicle, so you get whatever ones he drives and you take pictures of those. His driver's license, business cards, even, because a lot of the guys now, depending on what age demographic you're dating, they have their business cards, so you can take pictures of that, which has a lot of information for people if they needed to find out things about him. And then I send it to someone. I send all that information to someone so they can have it, so they can give it to whoever needs it, just in case something weird happens, which, thank God, nothing crazy has ever happened to me. But I think, again, it could be because I make it known that I need all this stuff, so they know, oh, I'm gonna be a little stupid if I try anything with her, because she's got all this info, and so knows about me. They know where I work, they know where I live, they got all my information, they could easily find me. And then some of you who don't have parents or friends or family members or anyone, a confidant, a neighbor that you can send that information to, or let know who you're with or who you're hanging out with on your dates or going on a trip with, maybe post it somewhere, maybe make some type of online group where you can share who you're going out with, who you're dating, without giving too much personal information, because a lot of these men like their privacy. Maybe, what other tips would I say? Who you can share it with, because I know there are some women, I've met them, who, you don't have anyone close to you that would even care, have a concern for your safety. What would I suggest? The background checks. That's another way to check them out and make sure they're good and a-okay in that aspect, because not everything gets found out, and everything, you can't ever have a record of everything that someone has done, good or bad. So that's what I would suggest. If you don't have someone who would be concerned for you and wondering, like, where you are and what's going on, that's what I would do. The background checks. Okay, so the 14th tip I have is bowling, arcade, race carts. Those activities and dating things were cute when I was in college and in high school, but now that I'm grown, I'm not doing those for the first couple of dates. We can do those later on, maybe, but thankfully, I none of the guys have been dating have even suggested something like that. One, because they can see my nails are usually longer than this, so bowling is, oh my gosh, I've been on a first date bowling. It was one of the worst dates I've ever been on. It's mm-mm. maybe later on. I actually enjoy bowling, so later on we can go bowling, but not the first date. And then how do you dress cute and feminine and sexy and alluring for a bowling date? Because your panties are going to show unless you're wearing shapewear. If your dress flops up while you're bending down or picking up the ball, and all the germs, it's going to be hard to eat. Are you going to eat before or after? You got to bring out socks with you because of the shoes. It's a lot for bowling to be a first date. I would not recommend doing that. I only accept fancy restaurant first dates, and I let them suggest because I want to see what they think that I'm quote unquote worth for dinner in their price range. And usually some of them will say, what kind of food do you like, or what where would you like to go? What kind of scenery vibes are you interested in? And then I can kind of give my suggestion. Oh, I love seafood, or I love vegetables, fresh farm to table food, etc., etc. Then they'll make some suggestions, and then maybe I can make the final choice. Or they may say, here's some places. Have you ever been to any of these places? I like to listen to their suggestions, and just kind of gives me an idea of what they think or what they presume that I'm worth. And then again, of course, we can do some activity after or before a comedy show. Those are always great date ideas because you can kind of talk quietly and laugh together. What else? Excuse me for hitting that camera. Plays, museums, art shows. What else? Different events in the city, at the parks, festivals. There's lots of things you can do, but you definitely want to make sure the restaurant is the first thing, so you can talk, you can get them talking. You want to get them talking and have them divulge a lot of information, being seductive, being alluring, being innocent, being open to hearing everything they have to say, so you can learn as much as you can to see if this guy is even worth going on a second date. The 15th thing is I never share my traumas or anything a man has done that previous man has done that has left a bad taste in my mouth. So there was a time where I would tell guys kind of about past situations that I've been in. That is not beneficial for us women at all. We don't need to let them know any of that. If they find out later, okay, after maybe years of them being in your life, maybe, but even then, some things they just don't need to know. They don't need to know about how this man did you so dirty. One, because they might try and do it themselves, or they trying to see how far they can go with you, or it may have them look at you differently or have a different thought of you than they did before you exposed this situation in your past. And they're human. That's only normal, but we're not going to be disclosing it or sharing that information. The 16th tip I have is I give the same energy they give. I never text, call, reach out first. I allow them to come and find me. So there was times where, I would text them back if they haven't texted me in a couple of days, or not text them back, but text them again, or maybe call them and they wouldn't answer. And I would be like, okay. Now I don't even notice, I don't even care if they don't call or text back, or they don't plan another date in a standard time that I would think as respectable, or would assume that they would want to see me again in this amount of time. I'm not worried about it. I'm not putting in the initiative. Whatever they are willing to give is what they're willing to give. I'm not giving any more than what they are given. 17th tip is I don't bring up being distant. So that goes into the 16th one. I don't bring it up. I don't bring up them being distant if they are. I don't bring up them ignoring me. I don't bring up them ghosting me. Again, I've done this before. It wasn't beneficial. It just showed my desperation. It showed my low self-worth. It showed my low self-value. It showed that I had nobody else to talk to. It showed that I was kind of needing them in a sense. And now I know, well, now I don't feel that way at all, period. I don't feel desperation. I don't feel like I need to be with this guy. I need to keep in contact with him to feel that I'm still important or whatever. I don't feel that way anymore. They don't have to do any of those things. They don't have to call back. They don't have to text me. They don't have to continue to date me. They don't have to continue to do this or that. So I don't, when it stops, it doesn't matter because I have Johnny, Billy, Bob, and Timothy waiting to go out with me next because we're dating several men. We have several men on the roster. If they stopped calling, I got someone else calling me. If they stopped texting, I got someone else texting me. If they haven't invited me out, I'm already booked and busy for that weekend anyway, so it doesn't matter. The 18th tip I have is I always remain in control of my emotions and actions. And I never allow myself to be used emotionally or let a guy try to manipulate my emotions. For example, sometimes when you're dating men, some of them will try and give you little low jabs about your appearance or try and find a flaw or insecurity about you while you're on a date. And now I just throw that back at him like, you don't do it right away. You whatever they say about your physical appearance, whatever flaw they have, you can just make a little joke about it or say, oh, really? I never noticed that. Or, oh, yeah, that's actually something I have. That's something that I really admire about myself. It makes me unique and different from all the other women that I've seen out there, and it's something that I cherish. Oh, my grandma had this character trait, not character trait, my grandmother had this physical trait, so I kind of appreciate it because it makes me feel like I'm close to her because we both have this mole here, or oh, gap teeth is actually really valued in certain countries in Africa. So whatever trait or physical genotype or phenotype that they may point out about you, that's them just trying to find an insecurity to use against you. And they could be insecure on their own, or sometimes some of the really immature guys, that's their way of saying that they admire that about you, they're attracted to that, but instead of just being straightforward and mature and saying, oh, I admire your mole, or that's really cute mole right there, they say something kind of bashing it, which we know what that looks like because we all experienced that in high school. When men liked something about you, they would say something stupid instead of saying something that was more of a appreciative phrase, of more of a, oh, I'm flattered, or of like I admire, that admiration. And it's kind of pathetic that they haven't learned how to properly talk to women by now. But you can just go back at him later on and say, oh, you've got some food stuck between your teeth, or oh, your breath smells a little bit. Do you want a mint? Would you like a mint? I'm gonna take a mint. Would you like one? You probably need it. I think you need a mint. Or oh, I see you're balding a little bit there, or your hairline's kind of far pushed back far. Like I've never seen a hairline that far back before. Or oh, you're shorter than I expected you to be. You can get him back easy. So that's what I would suggest, is just get them back if they say something petty like that. Don't get mad, don't get upset, don't argue, remain in control of your emotions. That's just one example. But don't seek revenge for anything from that a man may have done to you or tried to do to you, but it just brushed off your shoulders. Don't seek revenge. Just move on. And if it's something that you think law enforcement needs to be involved in, go ahead and get law enforcement involved in it. Go ahead and get lawyers involved in it. Whatever you need to do, just go ahead and handle that situation. But we're not going to be out here acting a fool and acting crazy about it. That's what we're not going to do. We're going to be serious because we are serious women. We have goals. We have a life that we value. So we're going to We're not going to put ourselves in more danger. We're just going to come out on top. That's just my long explanation of keeping your emotions and regulating yourself, um, and keeping your actions in check. The 19th thing is, this used to be really, because I wasn't, is I act or pretend to be trustworthy, innocent, sweet for my benefit. I used to really be this way, and it got me kind of walked over, not treated seriously, and kind of not seen as a prize. But now I kind of pretend, and I use or kind of fabricate or exaggerate situations for my benefit, again, because they don't need to know everything. It's not their business. They have not earned that. It's not for them to know. So you can, and it also has guys like I've things like, you know what, you're not all about the money. I've noticed you don't really care about that. And it's like, yeah, you're right. But at the end of the day, I'm very much hypergamous and expect to be treated financially well, and only with men who are doing well financially. But they don't need to know that outright unless they are asking, what will it take for me to be your boyfriend, or what will it take for us to get to the next step? Then you can kind of start doing it. You can always drop hints and suggestions of kind of who you are, but for all they know is you're that sweet little innocent woman who is there just to be with them, just because you really, 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 really like and have the best time with them, which, has some truth in it as well. But that's not the only reason why we're with them, because if that was the case, we would be dating every guy. The 20th thing tip I have while dating is I always keep my personal goals in mind. So that all these kind of tips kind of go piggyback off of each other in a way. But you have to remember what you want in your future. If you plan on having kids, what you want your kids' life to be like, where you want to live, the weather that you enjoy, the environment, the type of people. Maybe you'll even go as far as saying, what languages would you want to hear every day walking out? Do you want to be in a city where you can walk? Do you want to be in a city where you have to take the taxi or train? What are your goals? And if you are dating this guy, will he deter you from your goals? Will he completely make it so those goals will never come into fruition? What will happen if you get with this guy? That's how I think with every guy that I'm dating. And I'm not saying that I expect to be with every guy that I'm dating, but if there was an oopsie or some reason why I might have to be with him a little longer than expected or planned to be, will it be okay in the end? If not, then nope, don't need to be dating him. 21 goes into the earlier one about dressing, the apparel, which was 7, tip 7. 21 goes into that is, I only wear flowy dresses, garments on the first couple of dates. So there was a study done where they were observing men who were looking at women, a social experiment, and the women that were wearing the dresses, men noticed more, and they were more, it invoked a emotion in their body, a positive emotion, more than women walking around with pants and even skirts. The dresses, for some reason, maybe because it's a one full silhouette, it's one piece, one garment, maybe them thinking about taking it off. I don't know what the reason is, but they admired women who wear dresses. And to be honest, ladies, when I do wear my dresses walking out in the city, men stop me and just compliment me and thank me just for wearing a dress. And I thought it was kind of abnormal, but I'm noticing other women talking about this experience too, that men are just so happy to see women wearing dresses more, because we did go through a phase where we wore a lot of two-piece sets, the workout outfits, the rompers, the What else? The leggings, that was a huge thing. I'm glad I never got on that bandwagon. I never thought leggings were extremely flattering unless it was like, there are certain situations where you might want to wear like a workout legging, but not just to be doing your regular day-to-day task or going to work or yada yada. So we're going on dates, and I know a lot of women say, I'm not doing this for a guy. Trust me, I know a lot of the stuff I do is for myself because I like it. But when we're going on dates, we're trying to get them hooked. So we have to do certain things to make them like us and to make them admire us or be attracted to us. And wearing dresses is one of those things that guys just really like. And with that is wearing heels. I wear heels every date unless it's a date that requires me to wear flats. I'm not going on a date with tennis shoes or ballet slippers, but of course, if you have a certain condition where you can't wear heels, you can find there's lots of different shoes. They make orthopedic heels for people. So you got to do your investigation and look through and see what your options are. You can always get some really cute flats if you have to. There's lots of cute flats out there. I actually purchased some recently for a retail gig that I was working at Dillard's. So you've got options out there, but I always make sure I'm wearing a cute dress, flowy. Certain times I'll wear a fitted one. Not the first date. The first date, I'm definitely wearing a flowy, flirty dress. If it's evening, I'm wearing a darker color. A makeup look, makeup on. Check out my beginner series videos if you don't know how to do makeup. But excuse me, you want to have at least some mascara, a little blush, a lip color. That's like the basics for the dates. Every date, you got to have something. And you want to mix it up. You want to switch it up. You don't want to wear the same style dresses, the same style shoes, the same style of makeup, the same hairstyle. You got to switch it up to make it more interesting. Remember, you always want to be that one girl that he can never forget, that one girl who always he thinks of when he thinks of the best dates or the best experiences. You want that to be you. 22, I never date for potential. I'm only dating for them where they're at currently. So some people will say, oh, hey girl, you should date him. He's going to school for this, or he's about to do that, or he's thinking of this and he has this goal. Okay, what is it? A dream deferred, that quote. Not every dream people has comes into fruition. Not every goal someone has they actually follow through and complete. So if I'm dating a guy just because he said he's going to do this, or he says he's going to do that, or he may have that in him, I can see something in him, what is the point of me dating him for that for? That's not helping me now. That's not going to benefit and add to my lifestyle that I have now. So there's no point. And then a lot of the times when you do date for potential, it doesn't work out, and they ended up kind of mooching off of your personality, your style, your whether it's financially, your resources, whatever they can get, they're going to get it because their situation did not work out the way that they wanted, and you're there and you're available. 23 kind of goes back to my dating first dates. Never, ever, ever go to the movies on a first date. Some men will abuse that situation and try to take advantage of you, or try to fill all up on you, or try and finger you, or try and make out with you, or kiss all up on your neck, or rub on you. Some of these men are going to be super sexual, and then you can't even talk in a date. You can't, in a movie theater, you can't even have a conversation. So what's the point of that? You're basically sitting there with a stranger in a dark place right next to each other. And then some people forget that they have cameras in there made specifically for night vision, where they can see everything you're doing. And if you do anything inappropriate in that movie theater, you will go on the sexual offenders registry because you're having public sexual acts, and people forget about that. they see you. They know exactly what you're doing, and you have the police waiting for you outside the movie theater when you're done, or whatever that movie theater's policies are. Don't be stupid. Don't go on the date in the movie theaters for the first couple of dates. I'm not. There's no point. You're not gonna learn anything about them. You might be bored in that movie, and you just been sitting there like, this movie sucks. Can't wait to go. Why did he pick this movie? This date is lame. And you could have left the date, but now you're stuck in a movie theater. But again, you're never stuck. You can dismiss yourself if it really led to that situation. But we're not going to be going to the movies anyway. So 24 is I'm not eager to be in love. That kind of goes with the Desperate Housewives scenario. I don't think each date will end in a fairy tale romance. There was a time where I thought if the first date was super spectacular and magical and I got all those great feelings, like, oh my God, this was a great guy. This date was so perfect. I'm like, oh my God, I'm probably going to be with him. We're going to be this, we're going to do that. No, I don't do that anymore. I take everything step by step, and I'm learning that when women fall in love, I've never been in love. I've had love for someone. I've, had admired them, respected them, but I've never been in love. But from what I've seen other women is when they are in love, they sometimes allow some things to go that they normally would have rejected in the past, or they would have made a situation about. For example, maybe I've seen this before. A man and a woman were driving to a lake together, and the lady was driving one. That's side eye. She drove, and then the man proceeded to get out the vehicle and didn't start unloading the vehicle. The lady did. Now she was in love, so she didn't see this her driving one to her unloading the car as a red flag, because she just thought, oh, I'm just unloading the car and he's talking to whoever. It's not that big a deal. He just maybe, I don't know what she was thinking, but I was looking like, this is a hot mess. This lady's unloading this vehicle and she just drove to this location. What the heck is he doing? This is kind of more than just love. This is kind of dumb struggle love, to be honest, because she was doing way more and obviously putting way more in the situation. But she wouldn't have, I don't think she would have done that if she was in love with a guy. I think she would have hopefully seen, okay, this is wrong. This is not right. Something is off here. Hopefully. Maybe a more minor example would be, maybe a guy missing a special event in your life and he forgot about it or didn't show up or didn't give you a gift or didn't congratulate you on it. Maybe you would have let that slide because you are in love. You didn't give him any reprimands. You didn't make it harder for him to come and try and get you again and get your admiration. I've noticed women in love sometimes let some things slide that they wouldn't have allowed. So just don't think everything is fairy tale romance. Not every day it's going to end out into it. And don't fantasize. Don't be one of those girls who fantasize, oh my God, we're going to be married. We're going to have kids. We're going to have the white picket fence. We're going to have the lake house. No. Take it step by step and you'll see what happens in that situation. 25 is you don't owe him anything. I don't owe him anything. He wants to buy us gifts. He wants to take us on trips. He wants to take us to lavish restaurants. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. No, there is no rule book that says you have to sleep with him just because he did this. There is no rule book that says you have to go out again with him even though you hated the date and you would never see yourself with this guy. There is no rubric saying that. And I don't get why a lot of women out there are saying, oh, don't accept this from him or don't accept for that because he's going to expect this. Okay, he can expect it all he wants, but I'm not giving it to him. I'm not going to do that. There's plenty of men who've done so much and I didn't even make out with them, didn't even kiss them. You don't even have to kiss guys to have a great experience. That's another thing I've been hearing and seeing a lot of women feel like they have to kiss men in a certain amount of time, or they have to do this or have to do that. There's sometimes where I didn't even want to hold a guy's hand. I felt uncomfortable holding his hand. I can remember that moment right now. So I'm not going to hold your hand. I'm not going to kiss you. If I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it just because you expect me to, or because you think that you have earned that for however much money you've invested on me in me. No, we got to cut that out. Cut that out now, ladies. We don't have to feel guilty, ashamed, or like what else? Or like we're being um, manipulative, or we're using men. What do you think he's there with you for right now? Do you think he thinks he's using you? Do you think he thinks he's going to be manipulative? All those false truths and those future, what do they call it? Future humping. I'm not sure the phrase where they tell you these false promises they'll do in the future, or they will try and suggest or share something about their past, little secrets here and there. Do you think they think that's manipulative? No, they do it because they're trying to get something. Okay, so you're trying to get something too, but you're not giving it up. You're not giving them what they are expecting. So you don't have to feel any type of guilt, shame about it. Obviously, remember, always be safe and smart. Don't be doing stupid things to risk your safety. But if you are feeling uncomfortable, dismiss yourself. I've even seen ladies who say they're sitting through dates that are horrible. They're sitting through dates with guys who are being disrespectful to the waiters, waitresses. They're being rude, unkind. I've left dinner dates. I came up with the excuse like, oh my God, I just had something shipped home that was expensive and I have to get home to get it because I live in an apartment and I don't want anyone to steal my package. Or, oh my God, my dog, I'm looking on my camera on my phone and he's at home puking. Or, oh no, my best friend her car just broke down and I need to go pick her up. You know, I come up with something, or I just say, I'm not feeling this. I gotta go. Thank you for the date. Thank you for paying for dinner, but I'm out of here. I'm not staying through an awful dinner date either. Who came up with these rules, ladies, that said we have to stay and suffer through this misery? You don't. You can get up and get out of there. He doesn't know where you live, anyways, right? So it's not like he's gonna come and find you and figure out where you live. And if some of you who are concerned about those online databases, you can have those washed. And, they keep making new ones. They keep getting your information, but you can just keep having those wiped and washed. Or you can always give them a false name. I've done that too. Some of the guys I've dated recently, they didn't know what my real name was until maybe like the seventh, sixth date. They didn't know, because what is the point if I didn't date them again after like 3 or 4 dates? Why did they need to know my real name? What was there is no point in that. So that's just another little tidbit. 26 going into 25, I don't owe him anything. 26 is that I am the prize. I will be the priority. He will chase after me. I'm not giving anything. He's giving me everything. We are the ones he's going to be chasing for. The us, I, if you're watching this video, you're the I. So you don't have to feel guilty, ashamed, or anything if he's paying for the date. We're not going to go 50-50. That's going to lead me to my next point, my 20, or no, that's not. I'm going to switch it up. So the next one. But we are the prize. We know what we want. We know what we expect. And if we don't get that, we're going to move on to someone who treats us the way that we want to be treated, because we are worthy. We are deemed for that. We are these wonderful creations. We're goddesses. We are divinely created. Whatever your thoughts are on being a woman, that's what you are. positively radiant, alluring. What in the world makes you think it's okay for a guy to treat you subpar? There is no reason, there is no explanation. If you didn't have anyone in your life who showed you and taught you how a woman should be treated, there's plenty of videos, books you can read up on. You can watch some movies and TV shows of women that were treated that in a way that you admire and you respect. I'm telling you right now that if you aren't, if he's being disrespectful, unkind, not being chivalrous towards you, then he's not treating you like you're the prize. So you might need to move on. And that goes into my next date is not date, my next tip, 27, is there is no such thing as a 50-50 relationship. I know a lot of women feel weird when they allow men to pay the date. Why? He asked you out. He offered to take you out on a date. So why are you offering, or why are you feeling guilty that he's paying for the date? There, you should never offer to pay for a date. Never ever. Maybe the only exception is if you pre-plan something for his birthday, or his maybe he had some type of huge thing happen in his life and you want to celebrate it. But some of the times we're honestly using their credit cards to pay for that event. Okay, so those are like the only exceptions. But at the end of the day, he's paying for it because of what he's been giving to you, the money he's been giving to you. You used for that, or you used his card, or at the end of the day, he's paying for it. But we're never offering to pay for an actual date that we go on with the man. We're never asking him to take us out on a date either. But we're for sure never paying for the date he's ever asked us to go on. And we're going to get whatever we want on the date. Especially, there's ways that they'll tell you kind of what they can afford, and most times they'll say, you can get whatever you want. Oh, sure, you can get that. If you ask, like, oh, can I get the strawberry daiquiri? Can I get the uh, what is it, the coffee shaken espresso martini, the espresso martini that's really popular right now? Can I get that? These drinks are the cocktails, so they're pricier than your average shot or maybe a glass of wine. But sometimes even the wine can get super pricey, just one glass, or if it's by the bottle, maybe you want champagne, and a lot of restaurants don't serve champagne by the glass. You have to get it by the bottle. So you kind of find out what he's willing to pay for, when you're being flirty and asking. Or he might just go outright and say, or he might say, what are you thinking about getting? And you can say, oh, I was thinking about this, but I don't know. And then he's like, no, go get it, get whatever you want. So you want those guys too. You want the get whatever you want guy, or enjoy yourself. You're out with me tonight. I'm treating you. Those are the kind of guys you want. I remember once I left my wallet at home, but I only said that out loud to him, like, oh my God, I left my wallet, because sometimes I still get carded. Certain situations, everyone gets carded. Certain restaurants, they have this policy, if you look under 40, you're going to get carded for sure. But then there's certain situations where people just card me because they think that I'm under 21, depending on how I did my makeup, hair, and what I'm wearing. So sometimes I get nervous when I'm going out with guys, if I don't, because I change my purses so much that I don't have my wallet or my ID, that dang, I'm not gonna be able to get a drink tonight. But right now, anyways, off topic, I'm doing mocktails right now, so that's exciting. I'm trying to finding which restaurants make the best mocktails and the less artificial sweeteners, because I don't like those mocktails with the super heavy on the flavoring. Ugh, I like the more fresh ingredients with the fresh fruits and fresh herbs and the ginger beers. Those are kind of my type of mocktails. But anyways, there are no such thing as 50-50 relationships. So say you pay for the date one day, he pays for the date. Next thing you know, he's keeping track of how much he paid for his date, so he's going to make sure that you pay the same amount for the date that you guys go on the next time. Or he's gonna like I told you all about the guy who said he would want me to pay for the fun things. What the heck does that even mean? He can construe that to to be any kind of situation he would want the fun things to be. That could be all the way from us buying candy and desserts at home, all the way to us paying for the super luxurious destination trips, honeymoons, whatever. No, there is no 50-50. First off, one of us is going to be doing more work than the other, and it's usually the women, because we're just naturally nurturing and caring and taking, we just take care of things around us. So one of us is going to be doing more of the work, and it's always the women who are usually doing the bulk of the work, unless the woman is in her masculine at the time. Then, you know, sometimes the man may take up the more feminine aspects of nurturing. Not saying masculine men can't be nurturers, that's not what I'm saying at all. We want men who are, you know, in tune with certain nurturing characteristics. But what I am saying is that woman, she's going to be handling more of the household duties. She's going to be taking care of like the plants in the house. She's going to be making sure the food in the kitchen is nutritious and healthy. She's going to be making sure he's taking his medicine. She's going to be making sure he matches and looks good for work, because we usually have better style than they do. We're going to be taking care of the kids, and the ones who are going to be most of the time figuring out the child care situations. If we're working and we can't go and pick them up, we're going to be, we all know in our society, and everyone's culture is different and everyone's cultural norms are different, we know, but across the world, it seems like women have always historically done a lot more for the household than what men have. So if that man is expecting you to be 50-50 and expecting you to pay for insurance, electricity, the groceries, whatever craziness nonsense he makes up for you to contribute, that wouldn't be half, you're going to be doing more regardless. So we're not accepting 50-50, because it's not going to ever end up being 50-50. We're not doing 50-50 dates. We're not going Dutch. If he really wants to take you out, he's going to pay. Trust and believe. He's not going to have a hard time doing it, but he's just testing you to see, too, kind of what you're going to allow. And maybe he is used to women allowing him to take him out, to pay for the dates at times, or he's used to women who are okay with going on dates to Chili's and Applebee's, where all the food is already frozen and they just reheating it. No farm to table menu options. He may be used to women like that. So you may kind of startle him or jump scare him a little bit, but if he really wants to take you out, wants to date you, court you, he's gonna do whatever it takes. So that is my 28 dating tips that I have learned, my 28 years living here on this earth, because this week is my birthday week. Leave your comments, questions, make sure you like and subscribe, and if you'd like to leave me a birthday gift, my Cash App is linked in my About tab, and then it's also linked below. And always feel free to DM me questions, concerns, comments that you have on Instagram, and you can leave comments on these videos, because you know I love chit-chatting sometimes if it's not, you all aren't saying ridiculous things under the comments. But it's always great to be here with you all, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.